What? Oh, weird. Why? What? Hold on. Hold on. Control center. Bento box. There we go. Correct. Thank you, OBS. It's okay, Pygmy. I'm late too. I'm late too. Pygmy. Thank you. I'm enjoying this bug quite a bit. Love a good bug, you know. You know how it is. What's up, Sharky? Hi. What's up, Artie? Yeah, this bug is this blue guy up top here. I like this blue guy. And I like the shape of these mandibles in this piece of concept art. I like that. I like that shape. I have not started my checklist, no. I've got like 75% of them, more than 50% done. But yeah. These are the three that I'm kind of thinking about a lot lately. Is this whiz robe I'm not super happy with yet. He's on his way, but I'm not super happy with this one yet. I think I want to include the magical rod, I think, because you get it from the dungeon they're in. But I like this Ganon motif. I like this thing, but I took it off him because it didn't fit the aesthetic. I'm not super content with him yet. What I'd like to do, because these guys like blink in and out of existence, basically, they like fade in. I'd like to maybe have the torn fabric kind of turn into like disappear or like get smoky maybe, like they kind of They kind of form because they have like images that trace behind them. That like if you hit them, you miss and you can't hit them. So I think maybe something like illusory and smoky, kind of like if you drop ink in water and it plumes. I might try to do a little bit of that. I know. I think it was in that remake of Clash of the Titans. Hades, played by Ray Fine, has a cloak that kind of does that, where it's like inkish and plumy, but yeah. I think I'd like to maybe do that. I think I'd like to make this one a little more ethereal and smoky, and then the other one, who's the weaker version, I think I'd just like to keep straight up cloth, like to really show the upgrade in their power. Keep this one more straightforward and have this one be more wispy and spooky. But yeah, these are the three that I'm thinking about a lot. This one's actually very close to done. We'll probably do some rendering on him today. But yeah, this is a shorter stream, 3 or 4 hours today. I gotta do training at 3 p.m. here, so. Thanks, Riley. Training's been good, but I'm hitting a major plateau with my weight loss, so I also got I talked about this the other day. I got a bunch of tests done on my blood and my hormones and stuff, and my hormones are way out of whack. So they're gonna put me on some replacement therapy. My stress hormones are super high, and yeah, everything's all my stuff is all messed up. So I'm gonna start that. I thought I was gonna start it this week, but the prescription hasn't been filled yet, so it might be next week. So if you see me raging out on stream and screaming at people, it's probably because they're boosting my tea. Boosting my tea. Yeah, the hormone stuff they think is why I'm not losing weight. Somewhere in the process of losing the first 85, 90 pounds, something went, I don't know what happened, but yeah, everything's fucked. I eat in a caloric deficit every day, and I work out like 5 times a week, and I swim constantly, so I should be like shredding weight, and I'm not shredding weight, so I don't know what's going on. I don't know if I need to eat an even more of a caloric deficit. I don't know. To maintain my weight right now without exercise factored in, I would need to eat 4,000, and I'm easily burning 2,000 a day with the exercise. So it should be closer to 6, and I'm only eating 3. So even without exercise, I should be burning 1,000 every day. So I don't know what's happening, but it's very annoying. Let me tell you, it's fucking annoying. interesting. Yeah, here's hoping. Hmm. Do I use references? I'm looking at like a couple bugs and I'm looking at some concept art that I like. Like, there's elements of this that I like. I don't love all of it. I do like the mandibles. But no, I'm not using like a direct reference. I'm using bits and pieces of some real bugs, some monsters from movies, some monsters I like in video games. But yeah. Do 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 do. Excellent. how's the restaurant going? I'm not super involved with it. It's doing good numbers. The problem mostly has been staffing. It's very hard to find help, very hard to find employees, very hard to find executive chefs. I think we've gone through like 4 executive chefs. But yeah, hopefully in the summer when people come back to the Cape, the pool of people looking for work will expand. But as of right now, they're having a really hard time keeping it open. Business is good. People like the food, and we do like a brunch every week that makes a lot of money. The brunch is essentially paying for the restaurant right now. But yeah, I'm not involved with the day-to-day over there. I let my my brother handle that stuff. More hand numbness. Oh no. Oh no. We'd love to have you, Pygmy. I know I think we have 400 reservations for Easter brunch already. It's pretty wild. It's probably gonna be, I don't know, if I had to guess, it's probably gonna be $30,000-$40,000 of business that day. After alcohol. The brunch menu's nuts. There's roast leg of lamb, there's prime rib, there's honey glazed ham, there's all on like a carvery station, and then there's eggs Benedict. There's an omelet station with a bunch of toppings and fillings to make your own omelet. They'll cook in front of you. Then there's like roasted vegetables, Italian stuffed shells, roasted vegetable medley, candied mashed potatoes like yams basically. Oh god, what else? I'm forgetting a bunch of shit. It's a pretty insane spread. take a look. We have prime rib, leg of lamb, honey glazed ham, omelet bar, poached shrimp, smoked salmon, ceviche shooters, crab and spinach stuffed sole, chicken cacciatore, baked stuffed shells, mashed potatoes, spring vegetable ratatouille, honey glazed carrots, eggs benedict, Belgian waffles, applewood smoked bacon, breakfast sausage, home fries, beet and cheese charcuterie board, fruit display, pear and gorgonzola salad, shrimp cocktail, breakfast pastries, carrot cake, bread pudding, and Cadbury egg top cheesecake with special mimosas and margaritas. There you go. The max capacity, I believe it's 300. So if we do a few seatings, we can get 1,000 people. Oh my god, choo-choo jelly. The favorite kitchen movie or series? I used to love binging with Babish. I still do. I like Maddie Matheson's stuff. I haven't watched The Bear yet. I really loved The Menu. The Menu is great. I like the UK version of Kitchen Nightmares. I don't love the American one. There's like a nice quiet vibe of the UK version of the Gordon Ramsay shows where like there's not obnoxious music in the background and crazy sound effects and he's not constantly screaming and there's not an announcer and it's like all the cheesy shit that they force into those shows in America is not there, and it's kind of like a very, you can just leave it on and vibe, and Gordon's very like, I went into this restaurant and blah 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 blah. He's not like screaming. He's like very mild mannered and kind of almost whispering to in the voiceover. It's very strange how different he presents himself in the UK one. So Yeah, I like that one. Oh, actually, there is an answer. My favorite cooking show of all time is the original Iron Chef. The one from like the 80s, I think, where it's got Chairman Kaga and he bites into the bell pepper in the intro, and it's like Chen Kenichi and yeah, that original one where it's all dubbed. I fucking love that show. When they like all the pomp and over the top drama when they unveil the ingredient. Today's battle is pears. It's like, oh, and then come up with all the fog machines and everything. I can't believe it. A battle with pears. Who could have seen it coming? It's just the best. It's like a battle anime. It's like, it's crazy. It's literally like, it feels like I'm watching an anime. The energy and the presentation of it and like the... You'll never beat me. Like it's got that bravado. I don't know anything about the bear. I haven't seen it. That's a series I'm saving for whenever I have time to watch a new series, and that hasn't happened yet. I've also heard that it's anxiety inducing watching it, and like I'm good with that. I've got enough anxiety. I'm getting ready to transform into my true self in the next few months. It's the version of me that has hundreds of people over to my house every month for giant cookouts where I cook obscene amounts of food and barbecue. It begins on Memorial Day. I will be unleashed upon the world. That's awesome. such a good white trash dinner last night. My favorite poor food growing up. My God. American chop suey. 3 ingredients. Ground beef, elbow macaroni, Campbell's tomato soup. That's it. Sometimes it's the only thing I want. Don't know what it is. Okay, what's your question? I mean, all you can do is make a portfolio out of it. Do like 10 solid pieces and put it out there and see if it leads to work. You know? I wouldn't worry about it. I would just move forward. Make a little portfolio in that style and see if people like it. See if it generates anything, and then if it does, keep going, and if it doesn't, you can tweak it and introduce more technique-focused stuff. I would say the one working day or less thing, I would say generate like a handful of things. Do that for a month. At the end of the month you'll have 30 designs, okay? And then go back and give the top 10 that you like another day or two of love. Like take a month, do your 1 a day thing, 30 designs. Go back, pick the 10 strongest. Then give the 10 strongest another day or two of attention. Really tighten them up. Then you'll have a portfolio with 10 really finished things and 20 generated things. You know? No problem. Good luck. And don't be afraid to share your stuff on the Discord. Be happy to take a look at what you're doing and give pointers based on how it's coming out. Ooh. Alright. I might go back to the arm mouse. Can I do concept that's just line art? Yeah, I just don't prefer it. I've done it before. I just don't super love it. That's where I'm testing my color blindness. I want to make sure this isn't looking purple. And I have to use the actual Photoshop slider to determine that. Because in my mind, this could be looking violet. I can't tell. I'm gonna trust Photoshop that it's not, though. Boop, 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 boop. Boop, boop, boop. Boop. Boop, 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 boop. Boop, boop, boop. Boop. Boop, 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 boop. Boop, boop, boop. Boop. Boop, 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 boop. Boop, 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 boop. I should probably lengthen this canvas a bit. we're trapped in a fucking Agatha loop. Yet again. Whew. Good thing we get out of that. Yeah, I'd like to... The problem is I started this series with a certain style, so I can't really switch styles halfway through, or it's gonna bother me. I'd like to get away from rendering after these. I'd really like to get away from rendering. I'd like to do more loose stuff, like, I don't know. This is probably still fairly rendered, but I did this in like a couple weeks. This was like 2 weeks. This isn't super detailed. It looks finished when you zoom out though. But like this is very rough. Like, but yeah, I'd like to do more quick shit. Like this was pretty quick for me. This was very, very quick. I'd like to do more stuff like that. More texture-based rendering rather than actual forms. Just focusing on textures, I think, would be good. Excellent. No, I haven't. All right. It's so hard finding ways to make these not monochromatic. It's so hard finding places to introduce color, but I'll do that. I'll do that later. Like, I'm still not even sure about the faded, like, brass in the helmet here. I'm gonna keep it because I can't just have everything be blue and gray. It's just too fucking visually boring. But... I really wish I had done this series as just line art, because I could have conveyed my ideas, and I could have got it done faster. And you know, the ideas are the important part for this series. It's not really the rendering. But when I started this, it was like, I was still in that trap of if it's not rendered, you're a hack. And, yeah, it's unfortunate, but, I mean, I'm still overall happy with the direction it's going. I just have to really be strict with myself and force myself to put them out, because I've been sitting on these for so long, like just feeling insecure about where my work is at and constantly thinking if I make them better I'll feel better about it. And the problem is you're always getting better the more you work, so if you do that you just never release anything, and that's kind of where I am. I'm just like in a stun lock where I keep wanting things to be better and not releasing them, and then you just fade into obscurity basically because you're just constantly working but never releasing anything. Because by the time I do the most recent one, I'm gonna want to go back and touch up one of the oldest ones. Like, I'm looking at one of the earliest ones from the series, and I'm really not happy with it. Like, I know I'm gonna want to touch that one up, because it's been so long. But... do 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 do. Do 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 do. Boop 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 boop. Boop boop boop. Yeah, essentially, yeah. I mean, we're talking like... I know I've shown this piece before. Like... I know I've shown this before, so bear with me. Like, I could release this. I could release this right now as is, and people would like it. Yes, there's some parts that are not quite done, and yes, there's some empty spaces. And yes, there's some things that need a little more love. Like her fucking hand over here. But like, I could put this out, and people would like it and think it was done. I don't... It makes me... The idea of putting this out makes me physically cringe. Like, I need to render it more. I need to fix these things. I can't do it. Like, it's... I don't know what it is. But I have, like, an entire portfolio of new work that I could put out, but I don't want to, because I want it to be better before I do it. But, like... There's so many of these. Like, it's... It's really annoying. Same with this one. Like... I just can't put it out. Like, I just can't do it. I actually want to put a mask over this and see. Let me do a quick color burn. Oh, kill me. The hell? Like, I don't know. These are very, very close to done for me, but they're just not. They just aren't. So, you know, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do, guys? Die slowly and never release anything. So, hey. You know? What are you gonna do? Fucking kill me, dude. But anyway. Someday. Someday I'll put them out. Maybe. Oh god. Now I'm truly stun-locked. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Oh, all these paintings that are 90% done. Oh, kill me. Oh, kill me. Kill me. Kill me. Kill me. fucking god. Oh, there's so many paintings that I need to finish. Anyway. Knife, poison, or fists? A knife covered in poison held in a fist. A fistful of knives. Dipped in poison. Anyway, I'm getting a little overstimulated. I need to chill. It's true. I want it all. What can you say to get a harsher crit? You can just ask for what you want. You can say, give me the, I call it the crit sandwich. Give me something good, give me 3 bad things, and then give me something real good. So an example would be, you have a really cool original style. It really pops a lot, and it adds a lot of character. Your anatomy needs work, your lighting is very flat, your poses are repetitive, but you have a really awesome range of you know, character types in your portfolio, and you've got a really awesome eye for design. Like, you can just say, like, I want you to tell me 1 negative thing, or, you know, 1 positive thing, 3 negative things. Like, you can just ask. Some people are non-confrontational though, and they just won't give you a real crit. If you want a harsh crit, happy to give you a crit. I will tell you honestly what is good and what is not so good. Paul Bonner's crazy. What a legend. Wow. You can do it though. You can do it. can also go to artists that are known for giving good crits. Like, you could ask Dave for a crit. You could ask Marko Turjevic for a crit. Marko's crits are pretty brutal. I don't know when Marko would be offering crits, but you could, if you can corner him. Oh, God. Kill me. If I see a link, I will click it and I will look at your work. Are you asking for a critique right now? Oh. Let's take a look. We're missing good development, guys. We're missing good development. You're a wizard, Harry. Okay. Let's take a look. Oh, yeah. Do you have any of the new stuff you're talking about on here? This is cool. Cool concept. She's cool. Cool concept. Cool concept. I remember painting over some of these. Enter access code. Pff. Excuse me? Based on these, I'm going to give you the very boring crit. The very boring crit is you just need anatomy and perspective work. Specifically anatomy and perspective. Your rendering is off to a good start. You're getting good places with your brushwork and your detailing and your lighting. It's the lighting's a little. I think it's a little intentionally flat. You're going for like a painted look, like sort of like a Brahm thing, where like it feels like an acrylic painting or like an oil painting. I kind of like that. It works for the fantasy aesthetic. The anatomy and the perspective the anatomy is in just needs more work. It's just a fundamentals issue. Your shape design, like we talked about this when I did the paint over for this thing. stuff like this scale mail and the way that the costume is hugging the body, you're kind of covering up the flaws in the drawing of the body by like piling stuff on top of it. I'm guilty of this in a lot of my work too, so I recognize it when I see it. It's sort of like a not wanting to show the figure, so it's like hiding it by piling on tons of design. I do the same thing. Like you'll see it in my Zelda concepts, like the rat dude with the horns. Like I just throw tons of shit on. That's something to work on. Your faces are actually pretty good. Like you're doing a lot of good work with your portraiture, and your faces in perspective are moving at a good place. Moving to a good place. Keep working on that. Your colors are pretty good. I think the big thing for you is just the fundamentals. It's just drawing the body in more angles, in more perspectives, getting the proportions and the way the foreshortening works on the human form a little more spot on. But yeah, I think that's the biggest takeaway. Once you get there, there's other things you can do, but that's the biggest priority right now. By far, your most exciting composition is this one, but it's also because a character like this has a lot more freedom, shit you can do with it. Um, but yeah, stuff like this, like I get that she's crouching, and I know that she's, that's a pose with the wings that a creature like that would do. But it also, because the knees are covered up, it also could read as, is she like a hobbit? You know what I mean? Like we're not seeing, like if you had this knee here poking out over the wing to show, yes, this is a fully formed human leg. This is a full sized leg with a thigh and a knee. It would give away this weird, it's not a tangent, but it's like an unintentional read where we see a body and we see like what looks like little goat legs and like human feet. So it's like it's almost like a satyr with wings. And I know, based on your work, what you're going for. I know she's perched and she's crouching, but it does read as she has little tiny legs and little tiny feet, and she might be like a 3 foot tall creature, like a satyr with wings or something. The easiest way to get around that, like I said, would be to kick that leg over that wing, even though it's not accurate to how a bird would perch like that, like an owl. I know the wings would come in front, but for the sake of the read of the piece, I think that's the only way to do that. I would also probably select this upper torso and move it up so there's more room for the legs to be bigger down there. And if they are going to be not full-sized legs, if they are going to be shorter legs, I would make them bird legs, like the harpies and like Dragon's Dogma, because the adult-sized human torso up here, especially with like the breast and like the proportions of the shoulders to the head and everything, it feels like an adult human female, and the feet feel like child feet. And if you want the feet to be small, I think you can do that, but I would make them bird feet. I would make them talons, because the read of the fully formed adult human up top and the smaller proportions for the stuff below makes it feel like it's intentionally weird. That's why I'm getting that like satyr, like pan vibe. It's well rendered and it's well designed and it's a good composition, and the colors and the light are pretty strong. But that drawing, that unintentional read that she's like smaller from the waist down, even if that's what you're going for, it could be stronger because it's making the piece feel a little strange. This one's really cool. I like it a lot. I think even though it's a glowing creature and it's ethereal, I think you could go for more value range in the glowing bits. Stuff like the sword and the hair back here, all feel, if you squint your eyes, they feel kind of flat. You're getting it in here in this like snake area that's like coming down out of the torso and wrapping around. You're getting more depth of value in there with those darker kind of greens. I think a little more of that to show the forms of how the wisps are moving in the hair, and maybe more of a gradient on the sword where you pull some of that dark a little further down would be cool. This like little whip thing here is great. Bringing in more of those like bluish tones towards the tail end might be cool over here or on the end of the sword. But yeah, I think that it's in a good place. It's just the light parts feel a little flat in the hair and the sword, but this middle part is really strong. Everything with the arm and the head and this middle swoop is really really good. Um, but yeah, that's my take. It's my take, buddy. Anyway. Yeah, no problem. It's possible it's password protected because the concept art in the portfolio is under NDA. That's a thing that happens. So I'm not going to judge for that. But ideally you would want more stuff that isn't password protected as you go forward. Anytime I say NDA, all I can think of is NBA hang time. On the N64. NBA hang time. In the custom character creator, they had a name called Cornelius. And I can still hear the announcer with that muffled, compressed N64. Cornelius. Cornelius. Good stuff though, Nicholas. Solid work. Oh my god, there's a mosquito flying around. It must be getting warm outside. Oh no. Oh no. Doo-ba-doo-ba-doo. Do you feel like focusing on fundamentals can detract from the quality of a piece? What if Yoshitaka Mano was told to work on his anatomy? Absolutely, but it depends on the type of work you're trying to create. If you're going for very fundamental, like the work we just looked at from Nicholas looked like it was skewing towards a mix of Pathfinder, Dungeons and Dragons-y fun stuff mixed with a little bit of Brahm realism stuff. If you're going for that, fundamentals are essential, if that's the style that you're going for. If you're going for more of a fine art perspective, which a lot of Amano's art is very, very heavy in the fine art category, if it's more about the vibe of something and the beauty of the piece rather than the, you know, readability of the space and the forms, if you're going for that, then absolutely I would agree working on the fundamentals can be a detractor. You just have to understand what you're trying to accomplish in the piece and or in your portfolio, and address the skill sets that you need to go for that. Amano stuff is more about the feeling and the movement of the piece and the colors, and it's very dreamlike, and yeah. Doot doot doot. Boop boop boop. True. Fun and mental are very important. You can also apply a lot of fundamentals, like stuff like that harpy I was critiquing. As long as the proportions are there, you don't need to, like, as long as the proportions were there, you wouldn't need to go in and render every muscle on the legs. You know what I mean? Like, as long as the general related sizes of everything look right, your brain's not gonna, you know, focus on those things. Your brain only focuses on things when there's something off, typically. So, like, you can imply a lot without actually rendering it out, I say as I zoom in and render the rust on the bottom of a shoe. But yeah. That's kind of an impressionism trick where, like, if everything's looking the way it should, like if all the proportions are correct and the sizes of things are relatively okay with everything else going on, you can lose a lot of detail. It's kind of like the Mike Mignola thing where he'll only draw the areas that the light is hitting and everything in shadow is just a black shape. That style only works because the drawings and the proportions of everything work so well that he can lose a ton of information in the black and it still reads as what he's trying to sell it as. If his drawings weren't correct and the proportions were weird and he did that, it would just look like a mess. How lenient are companies when it comes to matching a style matching during the concept phase? Dave's Paragon Concepts and Losh's work on Horizon Zero Dawn are very stylized, but are those flukes? No, they're not flukes. It's when you're early on in the design process, you can be looser. Things tighten up the closer you get to the 3D team modeling the actual characters. So like early on in the process, someone like Loish on a project like Horizon Zero Dawn can come in for like the general vibe of a thing and like, okay, what's this character gonna feel like? What's the personality? What's the general look? You can explore a big range of things. Like when Dave was working on Paragon, it was before they were doing like any of the actual modeling, or they were still shooting around ideas for what the game was gonna be. So there's a lot of freedom, because if the team is still trying to figure out what a thing is, then it's beneficial to stay loose, because you can explore more things quicker to find what resonates with everyone. Find the thing, you know, the quicker you are, the more loose you are, the more stylistic you are, the more likely you're going to be to find the thing where you go, that feels unique, that feels exciting, let's go with that. So yeah, that stuff's really good. Another good example is Android Jones. He did a lot of concept art early on for the Metroid Prime games, and like, you know, his work is extremely stylized, but like he was just trying to get the general shape of like, okay, what's Samus gonna look like, what are these monsters gonna look like. Then when you move further down the timeline of the game being made, when you start actually building assets for the game, then it's okay, we have to decide if this game's going to be stylized or realistic. With an example like Horizon Zero Dawn, obviously they were like, okay, we're going to go realistic, we're going to go cutting edge. So then, you know, the more stylized work like Loish's is used to inform what the character is going to feel like, but the character isn't going to look like her work because they decided to go more realistic. So then you iterate on it, and you start coming up with, okay, this is what the realistic version of this character would look like. You start getting more artists involved that have more realistic style. Then when those renders are done, you can hand those to a 3D team. Someone like Raf Grassetti can come in and do, you know, hyper-realistic renders of, okay, this is what this character is going to look like in-engine. Then when you have that standard set, you can start designing all the other characters and go, okay, this is the final look of the game, and you can start fleshing it out. But yeah. So the answer is companies are very lenient with stylized stuff. They're more lenient the earlier you are in the creative process. As things approach a finish line, it starts to constrict and constrict and constrict. You can think of every game as like a circle, with the actual game that releases in the very center of the circle. So as you develop the game, everything closes in until you actually get that physical copy of like, here's the game. So initially it's all ideas, then it's design documents and art, then it's finalized art with an engine, then it's 3D renders in the engine, then it's all the gameplay's done and you can ship it. Like, the scope narrows as it develops. And as the scope narrows, the standards are tighter because there's less room to go outside that constricting circle. It's also part of why the best idea is it's very cutting room floor. If you look at any of like the Art of Marvel books or Art of any number of video games, all the coolest stuff is usually the stuff that didn't make it in. Because, you know, by definition, when they were exploring possible things, they were being more free and more open and taking more risks. So you end up with more cool stuff, a wider range of cool ideas. And then as you tighten up, what is this thing going to be? Anything that doesn't fit has to go. So all the wild and ultra creative stuff is usually left by the wayside. Sometimes it's for the best, but sometimes there's really cool stuff that is left there. Nintendo's really good about that because they never waste an idea. Even if it takes 20 years, if they had a cool idea that everyone liked and it didn't fit in a game, they'll sit on it and release it in a later game. I've seen all the Ghibli stuff, yeah. It doesn't look anything like Ghibli, though. It's such a bummer. I don't know why they're calling it Ghibli. Like, the George Bush 9/11 one is like, it doesn't look anything like Studio Ghibli. It looks like that dude, Tasteful Thickness, who does, like, the Zelda Bokoblin videos. Where it's like, what if it was, like, a real horrible war that the Bokoblins fought in? It looks like that shit. It doesn't look like Ghibli. Oh, I just realized that's an American Psycho reference, Tasteful Thickness. The tasteful thickness of it. Didn't even realize that until right now. AI is already falling off. It's starting to feel more like NFTs, where like only losers are doing it. Like, the zeitgeist has already started to reject it. Like, remember when NFTs first started and everybody, this is going to revolutionize everything, and then like within like a year or two, it was like a joke. Like, people were laughing at people that did NFTs, and like video games that had NFTs would get like boycotted, and like it became like a joke. Like a meme. I think AI is starting to become a meme. I think there's exceptions that people like, you know, this thing reimagined as an 80s fantasy movie or whatever. Like, occasionally on certain kinds of real content, as in REEL, real, people, you know, I think don't mind it, but I think it's very quickly becoming a joke, the same way that NFTs became a joke. Where, like, if you make an NFT and you sell it, you're a fucking loser. And if you do AI art slop, you're kind of a fucking loser. That's just the vibe I get. I could be wrong. I could be coping. But it seems like people are making fun of it more and more and more and more. Which is good. I think my favorite, as in I'm glad it didn't happen, not favorite as in I wish it happened. Favorite as in I'm glad they left it out, cutting room floor thing, was fucking Breath of the Wild originally was gonna be about a UFO coming to Hyrule like Independence Day. And there's like a ton of concept art in the book of like, what would aliens look like in Zelda? And then there's like, what if we did a cyberpunk thing and Hyrule was a city in the future and Epona had periods between all the letters like E period, P period, O period, and it was a cybernetic bicycle, like a motorbike that Link rode around on. And like, clearly a couple little things made their way in, like Link has a motorcycle, which is fucking stupid in that game. And then the castle floating over Hyrule in Tears of the Kingdom is the UFO idea they had. They just replaced it with the castle instead of a mothership. But yeah, occasionally there's some real bad ideas. but oh my god, it's our boy Borman. Any examples of Nintendo setting on a concept and then releasing it in a future game? Yeah, there's a bunch. The most immediate one I can think of is the mechanic of they used it in that 3DS remake of A Link to the Past, and then they used it again in Mario Galaxy, where you take a 3D character and they walk up to a wall, and then you flip them into a 2D character that can walk around in a 2D space. They used it when Link becomes a painting on the wall, and they used it in Mario Galaxy for like the 2D Mario segments. That was an idea that they had found way before those games. And they were like, oh, this is cool, but what do we do? And they ended up building that Zelda game around that idea. I don't remember what game they... It might have been Mario Galaxy 2? It might have been Mario Galaxy 2 where they found that idea and they chose not to use it. I can't remember what game it was where they discovered it. But they sat on that until they could build a game around it, and then they revisited it and iterated on it. There's a ton of examples. Nintendo does that a lot. Originally, Ocarina of Time was going to be all in. It wasn't going to have an open world. It was concepted out as all taking place inside Ganon's castle, and Link would jump between paintings. And inside the paintings would be instanced mini worlds that he would explore and bosses he would fight and stuff. And then they chose not to do that and sat on it, and it obviously ended up becoming Peach's Castle in Mario 64. And then they went for a more open world approach to Ocarina of Time. They weren't sure if they could do an open world on the hardware, but they liked that idea of jumping into paintings, so yeah. Yeah, they do a lot with consoles too. An example of that failing, another good example of them doing it, but in this case it was a failure, was Miyamoto had figured out that if you held up the gamepad for the Wii U, you could use it to look into the game. Like, you could basically use it like a lens. You hold up against your TV and see things in the game that aren't there on the TV in the gamepad. And he was like, oh, okay, like, this doesn't make sense for, you know, they toyed with a few things, like, could Mario hold the device that he looks through? No. Could Link have, like, a lens of truth thing that he looks through? Not really. And then they were like, oh, you know what already has technology in it is Star Fox. And they built that Star Fox Wii U game entirely around using the gamepad as a way to be inside your R-Wing and do all these weird things. And Miyamoto was, like, really obsessed with the functionality of the gamepad and all the stuff you could do for a long time. And they ultimately used it on that Star Fox game, and that Star Fox game was one of Nintendo's only massive failures in a very long time. The idea that became Pikmin was one of those ideas. I can't remember what franchise it was. They had an idea to use like a collection-based gameplay, I think in like a Mario spinoff. And then they were like, this doesn't really fit this game, but we like this idea and it's fun. And then they made Pikmin around that. guess they also kind of used that Link Between Worlds 3D to 2D thing with Splatoon too, where like you're running around in an FPS and then you snap onto the ground and you can kind of swim through a 2D space. Yeah, ARMS bombed. Which is a shame. That ARMS trailer was dope. I think Nintendo's next big IP, hopefully... They've been flirting with the RPGs for a while. And after that Mario RPG remake, I think their next big IP might be an Earthbound return. I think they might do like a Mother 4? 5? I don't even know what it would be. Got like another hour and a half of stream, guys. Then I gotta go to the gym. Hot take. I did not like those Dragon Quests. I did not like the style switch. Octopath Traveler works because everything has pixel art overlaid on top of the polygons. So it has this universal aesthetic where, like, if a town is 3D, it's got pixel art overlaid on top of the 3D. So everything feels like it's in a pixel world. Those Dragon Quest remasters were pitched that way in the initial trailers and concept art. Everything had like a pixel overlay. And then they just switched to low poly 3D with pixel characters and pixel monsters. And I personally fucking hate the way that that aesthetic looks. I hate the Final Fantasy remasters, the pixel perfect ones with the like really clean font with chunky pixel art. I hate low poly 3D. HD low, like it kind of worked in PlayStation games like the Breath of Fire games or Xenogears, because you had like very blocky 3D and they would put, you know, pixelated JPEGs wrapped around them, and like it not being in high definition kind of let your eye melt those things together. It was still a little jarring when you'd look at like character sprites in battle next to a 3D thing with JPEGs on it. It still didn't quite gel completely, but it looked pretty good, especially on like a CRT TV. But in HD, like really clean polygons next to pixel art just fucking drives me crazy. It looks so bad. It looks so cheap. It looks like someone made a little like test game on a weekend. And this is your fucking Dragon Quest remaster? Like, I don't know. That looked really, really bad to me. The initial pitch, the initial trailers and stuff, it looked pretty cool. But what they shipped, they very clearly stopped giving a fuck partway through development. Problem with pixel art, somehow, is that it's more expensive to produce. Guys, we got the compass. We did it. Whoa. Look at that guy. Look at him. Look at him. Look at him being a bug. The only thing I'm learning about this original Legend of Zelda game, the more I do these concepts, they relied on Cyclops a little too much. A lot of things have one eye. I decided none of these plants should be alive in this piece, so I'm gonna kill that. Oh my god, we're almost at the plot twist, guys. Well, the reason, it's a good idea, Nicholas. The reason I'm doing dead plants is because this white version of the armor only shows up in an area of the map where the ground, you can see around it, is literally gray. And as a kid, I went back and forth between, and there's a graveyard there too. I went back and forth between this is like a dead, haunted area, or this is like a snowy area. And I didn't really have a set idea of whether it was supposed to be snowy or dead, but because the graveyard was there, I think my mind just went towards it's a creepy dead area. So I think I'm just gonna do dead stuff. Weird dead vines and gross things. But having a cursed suit of armor in an overgrown area, and as the plants touch it, they die, is a very good idea. And you should do it in a painting for your portfolio. Or like an evil version of the Sword in the Stone, where there's like a cursed sword in a stone in the woods, and as the vines grow around it, they die. They wither the closer they get to it. Dave just informed me that in 1986, NASA was going to send Big Bird on the spaceship Challenger. But because they couldn't fit Big Bird's costume into the cockpit, they decided against it at the last minute. Can you imagine if the Challenger explosion had Big Bird on it? Oh boy. We're going into space, guys. Just an explosion. Kids around the world crying and screaming. This is the dungeon where Link becomes a Beyblade master. Yeah, I think you kind of have to retire Big Bird after that. I think you kind of have to, for sure. Well, number one, it doesn't look anything like Ghibli. And number two, I don't think you can get sued for a filter. He might be able to get sued for using the name, though. He should probably be sued for using the name Ghibli. Like, can you imagine if you put out a filter called Disney? Imagine how over his life would be so fast. But doesn't Disney... No, they don't own Ghibli. They only own the rights to release their stuff here. Yeah, I don't know. AI is so dog shit. But also, it looks nothing like Ghibli, which is the worst part. Do I think there will be any? I mean, for people that want physical art commissions, maybe. That's an extremely small market, though. Most people just want, like, a like concept art or like a file they can use. For people that want physical paintings, I don't know how many people are making money off of private commissions of physical paintings. There's some, but like, I think the people that are willing to pay money for a private commission physical painting to hang in their home, I think they're doing it because they value the art and the artist. I don't think those people that buy that stuff would want an AIRM to paint it. So it would essentially devalue it. Beyblade. Dude, the George Floyd memes are crazy. The George Droid stuff. You have no idea how that event triggered that many riots. It wasn't that one event. It's like asking how 1 degree can make a pressure cooker explode. It's the other 200 degrees leading up to it. It's just, yeah. After people got smartphones that had cameras and people could upload video of basically anything anywhere without needing to carry around a dedicated camera, people could capture candid events. There was a huge uptick in people posting videos of police malpractice and police brutality. That's one of the biggest things that would trend for years. It would be unlawful search and seizures, unlawful arrests, unlawful use of force, and the more prominent those videos got on people's smartphones, the more those things traveled around. It was essentially like tension building over time, and a narrative started to take root that this was just how things were everywhere. And yeah, I mean, it just, that was the thing. That was the thing that broke the camel's back, basically. If it wasn't that, it would have been something else, but tensions were just really, really, really high. That was like one of like 6 events I can think of that happened like that in the couple of years. It was sort of like the Rodney King riots in the 90s, where like because people could see it happening, that's like why the response was so massive. If there was no cell phone video of that happening, it never would have blown up the way it did. No, they're not artificial. People just hate Elon Musk. If you buy into the conspiracy that somehow there's a shadowy organization funding these events, you're thinking about it way too hard. It's very, very simple. People don't like Elon Musk, and people are very angry. And that's really all it is. Well, then you don't hate it as much as they do. I mean, it's pretty simple. I'm not out there destroying shit either because I'm not mad enough to do it. You know, some people are mad enough to do it. But, you know, I don't condone it. I don't think it's a good thing to do, but people get violent over all kinds of things I don't get violent over, not just that. I'm not mad enough to go to a bar and have too many drinks and start a fight, but it still happens every single night in every single town in the entire country. You know, just because I'm not mad enough to do something doesn't mean tons of people are. But yeah, I'll put it this way, like, I'm not condoning what's happening. I don't think it's a good thing. I don't think it's the right way to respond. But if somebody had a stable job or a research grant that was funding their job or a life-saving medication that was in experimental trials, and then an unelected bureaucrat from a foreign country, Elon Musk, comes in and starts making massive cuts to your government and firing tons of people and canceling research grants, yeah, people are gonna be fucking mad. Yes. And if he's untouchable because he's the richest man on the planet and the only thing that he values is his wallet, people are going to target his wallet. I don't agree with it. I think it's pretty dumb to do, but like, it's not like surprising. I don't need a conspiracy to understand why it's happening. It's pretty simple. I did see that. But yeah, I don't need a conspiracy to understand why people are being crazy. People are mad about a lot of things right now. Doesn't take much to get people to overreact and do crazy shit. I don't know, to me, this is just my read. Elon Musk feels like, I don't know, he feels like the unpopular kid your parents forced you to hang out with to be nice. He feels like that kid no one liked, that like your teacher or your mom or somebody like made you hang out with because they felt bad for him. He just has this weird energy of like, I need people to like me, and he takes it real far. It's very cringe. That Path of Exile stuff was so embarrassing, dude. Was that thing I saw from Grimes real, or was that AI? Was that fake? Where she said she had a video of her pegging Elon, and if he didn't stop what he's doing, she's gonna release it? There's no way that's real, right? Did she actually say that? It's fake. I've seen it pop up like everywhere, but I'm assuming it's not real. I would imagine Grimes would be smart enough to not invite a revenge porn lawsuit from the richest man in the world. That would be my guess, but oh boy, is it making the rounds. Hmm. Yeah. I think in his mind he thinks he's supposed to be the Emperor from fucking Warhammer. Like he's gonna, it's his responsibility to breed a master race that can travel the stars. I think he unironically thinks that, which is really funny. Oh my god, it's almost time for the plot twist. Oh my god. It's the best part of the game, guys. Get ready. So dope. I love this Ganondorf design so much. It's so good, dude. This Ganon design is so sick. Nigel Chicago. Benedict Tacoma. Oh, true. I didn't know you had a family crest. You just get cooler and cooler, Sharky. What the fuck? Making us all look bad, dude. I must go take a break for a few moments and step up and stretch my legs. Oh, there's something else. Something else I forgot to, something I forgot to tell you, Sharky. That's a sick crest, dude. Jackson, Nevada is a dope name. Sorry, my secrecy is over. I'm I must now stretch my legs. I'll be right back momentarily. And then we'll do another 30 minutes, 45 minutes of streaming, and then I gotta go to the gym. Oh, I'm back. Remember what Shrek taught us, guys. It's not ogre till it's ogre. Yeah, actually. An old guy at the gym calls me Poseidon. Because of my beard. And because I'm in the pool for 3 hours at a time. Old Italian guy. Poseidon! That's what he says. Poseidon! He doesn't know my name's Dan. He's just calling me Poseidon, not Poseidon. It's crazy how some of the old guys at the pool I go to are awesome, like that dude, and hilarious. And the other old guys are just the meanest pieces of shit. It's so weird. There's like 3 kinds of old guy at the gym. No, okay, there's 4 kinds of old guy at the gym. There's old guy who's just a good time. like Poseidon guy who's just always smiling, always having a good time, always saying hi to everybody. Then there's mean piece of shit guy who's just an asshole to everyone. Like the dude who told me if I'm swimming I should have a wide load sticker. And I told him he should have I'd get one if he got an expiration date. Then there's the clearly it wasn't okay to be gay in their generation closeted guy who just hangs out naked in the locker room for way too long and gets really close when he talks to you because he just wants to be naked around you. There's those guys. And then there's the you're doing everything wrong, let me show you how it's done guys. Who are like, they're like, I used to be in the Marines, you're swimming wrong. Let me show you how you're supposed to do it. Like, yeah. Those are the 4 old guys that I meet at every gym. Oh man, I feel bad I have to stop streaming soon. This part of the game is awesome. Where you go to the mansion on top of the frozen mountain. With this chick's fucking Sasquatch husband. I wonder if there's a clip anywhere on the old Twitch channel of me reading the Bigfoot erotica in the recording studio while we did the audiobook. There was that day where for subscribers, if you sent something in, I would read it. And someone sent in an excerpt from a book called Come for Bigfoot. And I read it. It was pretty good. It's pretty good. Thank you, buddy. I'm glad you like the pig symbol. Have you seen my other pig symbols? Anyway. Oh. Oh. What's crazy is, I think this game looks better than Tears of the Kingdom. Like, the background polygons aren't great, but like, these characters look so much better. Why would a guy who looks like me be obsessed with Bigfoot erotica? Doesn't make sense to me. Like, look at all these, look at the art in this game. It just looks better than Tears of the Kingdom. Sasquatch dude in this game is sweet. He kind of looks like the god Barong from Bali. He's got those cool like counter curve fang horn things. How's my brother's barcade doing? It opens in May. It's they're about to install the cabinets, which is exciting. Because until it opens for the next month, I'll just have an arcade all to myself that I can go hang out at. I believe it does have Time Crisis, yes. I don't know if it has House of the Dead. It's got a lot of classic ones, like Pac-Man, Centipede, Joust, shit like that. It's got, I think, Avengers vs. X-Men? I can't remember. It might have Marvel vs. Capcom. It's got one of the Capcom versus games. I can't remember which one. I believe it has Darkstalkers, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. What else? It doesn't have the 6-player X-Men cabinet. That thing is too hard to find. It's got a bunch of pinball. These wolf songs are just not very good. Dude, I'm so excited that Capcom is bringing back Okami. What an awesome thing. Third Strike? I don't know. I'll check. I'll check the list next time I see my brother. Only 600 bucks? Dude, I'd pay that for you to come out sometime. That's not bad. I thought it was gonna be like over 1,000. It's only 600 bucks? Are there any connecting flights, or is it direct to Boston? Do you stop in like Iceland or something? Four hours transit? Jeez, I would just pick you up. If you flew out, I'd just get you. I'm only an hour away from Boston. Not far at all. You should do that, Sharky. You should. I'd respect it. But also, if you ever need to get away in the mountains up here, I have a cabin, and you're basically telling me that you could take a $600 vacation because I wouldn't charge you for the cabin. So if you ever need to get away, just let me know. I gotta go pretty soon, guys. I gotta go get ready to go to the gym. Pretty soon. Yeah, Sasquatch dude. He's so great. Look at him. He's fucking awesome. Tell me anything in Tears of the Kingdom as cool as this guy. That's not in Tears of the Kingdom, though. The deer at the spring is in Breath of the Wild, but I'll give it to you. The deer is pretty cool. Also, what a great way to do a tribute to Satoru Iwata. I like how Nintendo just had to do a Final Fantasy VII. They were like, shit, snowboarding. I gotta get me some of that snowboarding. If Cloud Strife can do it. This dungeon rules. I think I'm gonna end it here where this dungeon starts. This dungeon rules, guys. But anyway, it's time for me to get ready to go to the gym. I'll be back maybe tomorrow, but if not, Monday. And, you know, I love you. I love you, I miss you. Whenever I'm not here, I'm thinking about you. You know, I hope whatever you're doing, I hope it's going great. If it's not going great, I hope you figure it out and you make it go great. And, stalling, because I want to finish rendering this little bit here. Stalling. Wow. Love you all. We did some rendering. We got that boot done. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Nice. Nice. Alright. We did some work on this guy too. Feeling pretty good about him. Feeling pretty good about him. Alright. Love you all. I'll see you. Take care. Have a lovely weekend.